Hey, just this week, ConsumerLab.com and Consumer Reports each reported finding toxic heavy metals in dark chocolates. And ConsumerLab.com also found the same problem in cocoa powders. I'm Dr. Tod Cooperman of ConsumerLab.com, and I want to tell you a few important tips to help you minimize your exposure to toxic metals in dark chocolates and cocos, and potentially increase the benefits that you can get from these. First, let's talk about heavy metals. These are linked to cocoa solids and not cocoa butter. So you're going to get more of these heavy metals in products that are 100% cocoa solid, like cocoa powders. Dark chocolates are made with cocoa solids as well as cocoa butter and other ingredients, so the concentrations can be a bit lower than in cocoa powders, but the serving sizes are much larger with bars, say 30-40 grams, versus say a tablespoon of cocoa powder, which is about 5 grams. So there's a concern with both. Heavy metals are less of a problem with milk chocolate because you've decreased the amount of cocoa solids and added things like milk and sugar, which have their own issues. White chocolate has no cocoa solids, so you don't get heavy metals in white chocolate. There are two heavy metals of concern here. One is lead and the other one is cadmium. Now, lead occurs in many types of foods. You'll also get them from cocoa powders and dark chocolates, but the levels tend to be fairly low, but still of concern to children. With cadmium, however, the levels are much higher, and they're of concern to both adults and children. The amounts found in these products vary considerably. For example, we found 3 to 10 times as much cadmium in an 85% Alter Eco dark chocolate bar than we found in 9 other bars, one of which was 100% cocoa. Among cocoa powders, we found 9 times as much cadmium in a Trader Joe's organic fair trade cacao powder than we did in several other cocoa powders. In addition to choosing a product that's low in heavy metals, it's also good to moderate your consumption to no more than once a day, or for children, even less frequently. Also, be aware that when you consume good minerals like calcium, you reduce the absorption of these heavy metals. So having these products with milk, for example, can help reduce the exposure that you have. On the brighter side, let's talk about good things you can get from cocoa and dark chocolates, and that is cocoa. These provide some modest cardiovascular and temporary cognitive benefits when you're consuming about 200 milligrams of flavanols per day or more. Now, like the heavy metals, these beneficial flavanols are also associated with the cocoa solids. So you're not going to get high levels of flavanols from milk chocolate or white chocolate. Among dark chocolates, it's best to look for a product that's at least 72% cocoa or cacao. But keep in mind that some of that cocoa, the way that they calculate that, is actually cocoa butter. So it's not always an accurate indicator of how much you're going to find. In fact, we found 3 times the concentration of flavanols in a 72% Ghirardelli bar as we found in a 90% Lindt bar. Now, a very good tip when you're trying to get flavanols from these products is to avoid products labeled as Dutched or alkali treated, because that removes flavanols, although it does make for a more mild flavor and a darker color. The highest concentration of flavanols that we found is in cocoa extract supplements like Cocovia, where you can get hundreds of milligrams of flavanols in a serving. But be aware that there are also supplements out there that are really no more than just cocoa powder in a capsule, and you'll get very little. We found as little as 2 milligrams in some of those products. So the bottom line with cocoa-based products is you want to minimize heavy metal exposure and you want to maximize flavanols. I hope these tips help you, and you can find more details in our report on ConsumerLab.com.